Do I believe in a sales process? When I first started out in sales, I really didn't believe in a sales process. I thought it was like too restricting, kind of a straitjacket type of approach to selling. But over the years, I've learned that, wisdom has taught me that you do need a sales process. And the revelation came, many years ago when I was working with a company who had hired me to basically sell one of their products. And what they wanted me to do was use their sales process. And then they actually gave me a script, like a binder about that big, on what to say. And when I first saw that, my immediate reaction, probably like for many other salespeople, was like, whoa, wait a minute, sales process, and I got to memorize a whole script. And, I started using it initially, and I felt clunky. It feels always real clunky when you're trying to use a sales process. But over time, I learned to appreciate a sales process. And so let me walk through kind of the transformation I went through to now accept the sales process, and I actually like scripts. What they did is they gave me basically a 6-step sales process, let's say. And they said, Victor, what we want you to do is follow these 6-step sales processes. And what we found out based on our studies of 8 years is that the process does work. So they already worked out all the wrinkles in that sales process. But the script was kind of long. But they said, Victor, there's certain things you have to say, and you have to say them in a certain way, and there's a time and a place where to say them. And so again, all this was overwhelming at the beginning because, you got to remember, you got to memorize a sales process, kind of always be cognizant of the process as you're talking to the client. But on top of that, you have to kind of memorize what you have to say, when to say it, how to say it, and how to position that. And again, initially it feels very clunky, feels very uncomfortable. But fast forward, after using the process for, let's say, 3 to 6 months, it became very natural. And so what I believe that somewhere between no process and having a process, there lies a middle place where you can have a process, a structure, what to say, how to say it, when to say it, with the process, but you make it yours. And I think that's the key in selling, is that a lot of the best salespeople have a process and they've made it their process, and it comes across very naturally. Because what happens after 3 to 6 months is that even though you're following a process when you're communicating to a client, it comes across really natural, so it doesn't sound like a process. And that is the key. Again, you got to push through the actual process. A lot of people start using the process, and what happens is that after a week or two, maybe a month, it's not working for them. They just kind of, that's it, I give up. And I think that's a mistake. I think what you have to do is kind of push through the first phase of it, which is the memorizing, the trying to get it together, when to say it. Again, there's going to be moments where you just say the wrong things and it doesn't come out right, or maybe you did follow the process, but guess what? You didn't get the sale. But then you blame the process, when in reality it could have been something about what you said, how you said it, when you said it, and maybe you really didn't follow the process or the script. So here's a tip that I like to give people. If you have a process and you have a script pretty much worked out, one of the things you should do is record your presentation. So get one of these pocket recorders, or for me, I just use my phone, just hit the record button on the voice memo. And what I do is I record my presentation. And so what I then do is go back and listen to it, and it's amazing what you hear when you listen to yourself. At first it's like, I hate that. But you learn a lot about how you speak, when you speak, maybe even the velocity of how fast you say certain things. And then maybe when you're listening to what you're saying when you're talking to the client, you said, I could have phrased that a little better. And again, that's selling. That's the real sales process/cycle that people have to go through. But again, most people just kind of want to go out there and just sell without a process. And I think those are the people that wind up getting frustrated. Those are the people that don't close as many deals. And those are the people that says, I'm not a natural-born salesperson. Well, guess what? The majority of us aren't. We just learn to use a process. So use a process is what I recommend. Definitely makes a difference in selling, I think, over the long run.